Our story begins at the end of the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament. The once proud Piccolo, reincarnation of the dreaded Demon King, lies broken and battered among the ruins of the arena, while his vanquisher, Son Goku, and his friends celebrate their victory. Kami, being a shrewd old fox, attempts to end Piccolo while he is weak, but Goku stops him, refusing to allow the deity to end his own life in order to defeat Piccolo. The heroes then go on some disgusting nostalgia trip about how Kami and his Dragon Balls set in motion their meeting. What treacly nonsense. Unfortunately, Piccolo is in no state to get away, and so he must endure their rambling, until finally Kami accepts Goku's terms, and so both his and Piccolo's lives are spared for now. Goku, fool that he is, then tries to give Piccolo one of his magical healing senzu beans, but here Kami draws the line, saying that he will spare Piccolo, but refuses to allow him to be supernaturally healed, since the demon would likely just attack them all over again. Instead, Piccolo can heal naturally, and ruminate on his failure, perhaps using this time as some sort of penance, and a chance to change his wicked ways. Goku mumbles that he doesn't know what ruminate means, but accepts Kami's terms, and so along with his woman flies off on the Nimbus cloud, while all around Piccolo, the heroes disperse, leaving him here all alone. In the days it takes Piccolo to be able to move again, he does exactly as Kami had hoped. He thinks back on his failures, as well as the failures of his father, and in a sense he does change his ways. He accepts that he was too soft, too honorable before, and that held him back. If he is to truly be great, he must truly become a demon, since only then can he defeat Son Goku and claim his rightful place as the ruler of Earth. And so day by day, week by week, year by year, this anger festers, blotting out any trace fragments of goodness the would-be Demon King might have developed, so that 5 years later, when a new threat comes from the sky, Piccolo is more than ready to kill. The encounter with Raditz and the subsequent fight go much the same as in canon, with Piccolo and Goku both swearing that as soon as Raditz is dead, they will engage in one last duel to the death. However, such a clash is not to be, as during the final bout, Goku sacrifices his life to hold Raditz, while Piccolo skewers them both with his special beam cannon. The dying Raditz cackles that he has to hand it to his brother, giving his life for this planet. But Piccolo is done talking about Goku, instead growling that Raditz should be in awe of his power, as he was the one who actually killed him. That idiot Goku was just collateral damage. Raditz, however, sneers that Piccolo is nothing special, since he has spent his life serving with a pair of Saiyan warriors who make the Green Man look like a bug in comparison. And now that he has transmitted the location of this world to them, they will surely come and avenge him by killing everyone, including Piccolo. Using his keen intellect, Piccolo is able to guess how Raditz transmitted these coordinates, and so yanking the scatter off his ear, he barks down the receiver asking if these are the other two Saiyans. A deep male voice sneers back that it is, asking who the hell he's speaking to. Piccolo identifies himself as the Demon King, ruler of this world, and the one who killed Raditz, warning them that if they come here, he'll kill them too. Another male voice chuckles that this is big talk, but the first speaker silences him, saying that if that's so, he might actually prove a decent replacement for Raditz. Piccolo snarls that he's nobody's lackey, but the deeper voice speaker chuckles that you ought to hear him out before getting snippy. They sent Raditz to Earth to fetch Kakarot for an important mission, but now Piccolo has presented himself as a much more viable candidate. Piccolo scoffs that he still doesn't see what's in this for him, but the deep voice Saiyan tells him to be patient. He said he was a king, didn't he? Well, why settle for dominion over a worthless little mudball like Earth, when he could be king of the entire solar system, of half the galaxy if he wanted? The Demon King's face splits in a malicious grin, and he says that he's listening, to which the Saiyan in turn chuckles that when the job they've got planned is completed, there will be a galactic power vacuum that the three of them can exploit. The other man then tries to elaborate, but the deeper voiced leader says that he thought he told him to shut up, saying he can explain more when they meet in person. He then addresses Piccolo once more, saying that in 1 year's time they will come to Earth to test if Piccolo is really worthy of joining them. If he is, they will fill him in on the rest of the plan. If not, well, he won't have long to be disappointed. The Saiyans then cut communications just as Goku's Earthling friends arrive in their capsule plane. Piccolo stows the scouter, then goes over to speak with them, but it seems the fools only have eyes for Goku. After saying his piece, Goku passes on, his body being taken by Kami, no doubt. That makes things trickier, since if the old hermit has been watching, he'll know about Piccolo's deal with the Saiyans, and very well might take his own life to stop Piccolo's plan from coming to fruition. Looks like he has no choice. He'll have to find a way to sever his life link with Kami, and for that, he'll need the Dragon Balls. Approaching the woman, Bulma he believes her name is, Piccolo tells her that he needs her dragon radar. Suspiciously, she asks why, demonstrating that she among these idiots has an ounce of brains. But Piccolo is not without his own wits, and so begins to spin her and the other humans a yarn of deep remorse for all his evil deeds. How fighting alongside Goku has changed him, and now he must be the one to revive his rival to soothe his aching conscience. Like the chumps they are, the humans buy this story hook, line, and sinker, with Bulma giving Piccolo the radar and the ball on top of Goku's brat's hat. Krillin and Roshi then soberly pick the boy up, saying they should take him home and inform Chi-Chi of Goku's passing. In a voice of forced sympathy that makes Piccolo want to retch, he tells them not to worry, he will have the fallen hero back soon, then takes off in search of the Dragon Balls. Using his power of flight, Piccolo is able to zip around the planet in search of the Dragon Balls at a remarkable pace. However, he doesn't allow himself to get complacent, since at any moment Kami could finish whatever he's doing with Goku and return to thwart his evil plans. For that reason, he doesn't stop until at last all 7 magical orbs are in his possession. Touching down on a patch of grass, Piccolo summons Shenron and is greeted by the Great Green Leviathan, who asks what his wish is. At first, the Demon King considers asking for his and Kami's bond to be undone, but then a memory buried deep within the jumble he inherited from his father, King Piccolo, comes to the fore. They have a life link because they were once one entity, and if they became so once again, Kami could do nothing to stop him, while he would gain the old fool's power. Perfect. And so Piccolo states his wish, demanding that Shenron reabsorb Kami back into him, while allowing him to maintain his personality. Shenron's sweat drops at this, but when Piccolo snaps at the dragon, asking if he wants to die again, Shenron vigorously shakes his head and grants the demon's wish. In a flash of light, Kami is gone, the Dragon Balls crash to the ground inert, and the sky brightens. All that remains is Piccolo, feeling stronger than he ever could have imagined possible. And as he powers up to his max, he places the scouter back over his eye and scans himself. Higher and higher the gauge rises, until finally the counter stops at just over 20,000. Incredible. Thankfully, none of the Earthlings can sense energy, so Piccolo has no need to hide his power as he flies over to Goku's house. Having seen the sky go dark, the humans rush out to greet him, with Krillin asking where Goku is. Suppressing a chuckle, Piccolo says he'll show him, then without hesitation kicks the bald man's head in. Roshi and Chi-Chi recoil in horror, with Chi-Chi shrieking once a snake, always a snake. This gets under Piccolo's skin, and so with a ki blast, he blows her away. Roshi, now the last man standing, powers up to his muscle form, throwing punch after punch at the demon, before charging up a Kamehameha. Wanting to test himself against Goku's strongest technique, Piccolo allows the old timer to fire this blast, and then with the slightest of ease, swats it aside. Roshi gasps that this is impossible, saying there's no way Piccolo could be this strong when only hours ago it took him and Goku working together to defeat Raditz. Piccolo jeers that is all in the past, before stomping over and grabbing Roshi by his bald head. Frantically, the Turtle Hermit asks what Piccolo is doing, but the demon ominously replies, "Payback," as he blasts his way into the house's kitchen and tears a rice cooker from the wall. Dropping both Roshi and the appliance on the floor, Piccolo then raises both hands, and with a cry of Mafuba, seals the human away, just as Roshi had tried to do to his father. All this commotion draws the attention of the boy, Gohan, who had been napping in another room. Blearily, he asks what's going on, and this gives Piccolo genuine pause. Remembering the power the child displayed against Raditz, the Demon King briefly considers taking him on as his student and training him as a tool for world domination. But then he remembers his newfound powers, which put even Gohan's rage boost to shame. And even if they did not, this child likely possesses too much of Goku's soft heart and morals to be of any use as a conqueror. With a sneer, Piccolo tells Gohan when he sees his dad and uncle to say hi from him. Then, with an explosive demon wave, turns the child to dust. With all his enemies now dead, Piccolo need only wait for the Saiyans to arrive. But since he has time to kill, he decides to fulfill his lifelong dream of world domination in the meantime. With a power such as his, the nations of the world kneel before him in no time at all, and though there are those such as Yamcha and Tien who resist, Piccolo easily kills them, securing his own unquestionable dominion over Earth. Luckily for the Earthlings, he is not so frivolous as his father, and so does not reinstate King Piccolo's rules such as the legalization of all crime, or the city destruction lottery. Instead, he runs a much more totalitarian regime, in which people can go about their lives, so long as they pay homage to Piccolo as their lord and master. However, even ruling gets boring after a time, and so Piccolo appoints that sniveling worm Pilaf to be his chancellor and run the day-to-day affairs of the planet, while he trains, explores, and spends some time on the lookout, familiarizing himself with all of Kami's little secrets. Here he discovers many valuable things, such as the hyperbolic time chamber, the sacred water, and one very special something that he stores in a capsule and tucks away for a rainy day. Finally, the day arrives when the Saiyans land on Earth. Crashing into East City, the bigger Saiyan wastes no time decimating the place with a single blast, but is stopped from doing any more when Piccolo arrives, snapping that this city along with its people and everything else on this world are his property, and he doesn't appreciate big oafs messing with his stuff. The big guy sneers that this must be Piccolo, saying he doesn't look so tough, while behind him, the little one with the troll doll hairline comments that he didn't expect him to be a Namekian. Piccolo is not familiar with this term, but not wanting to show weakness, instead tells the bald one to come fight him if he thinks he's tough enough. The Saiyan gleefully accepts, rushing in until the Namekian warrior puts him on his back with a single hit. The other Saiyan, the one Piccolo recognizes as the deep-voiced leader, calls his comrade pathetic, before introducing himself as Vegeta and his bald associate as Nappa. Piccolo coldly asks if what he just did proves that he's good enough to join in on their little plan, but Vegeta says not yet. He wants to get his own read on Piccolo's power first. Piccolo shrugs that this is fine, though Vegeta can't blame him if he kills the little Saiyan if he's not up to snuff. The pair of warriors then square off in the wreckage of East City, taking their respective fighting stances before launching at each other. It quickly becomes clear that they are roughly on par in terms of power, though Piccolo has a slight edge not only in raw strength, but also through his impressive array of techniques, like stretchy arms or multi-form. This angers Vegeta, who claims that he is supposed to be the strongest, the mighty prince of all Saiyans, but with a sneer Piccolo delivers a wicked headbutt, asking what is a prince compared to a king. This pushes the spiky-haired Saiyan over his limit, and he charges up a power ball, lobbing it into the sky and forcing it to burst and mix into an artificial moon. At once his form begins to bulge and shift, growing more simian as he also grows in height, transforming Vegeta into a giant monkey. Vegeta then sneers down at Piccolo, asking if he has any sort of counter for the Great Ape, to which Piccolo replies, yeah, one, as he transforms into his giant Namekian state, delivering a fierce uppercut to the prince's chin. Vegeta staggers back, and so Piccolo presses his advantage, though when the Saiyan recovers, he wastes no time proving the power Piccolo has acquired from transforming is nowhere near the level Vegeta has gained. As a result, the tide of battle shifts sharply in Vegeta's favor, with him using the enlarged Namekian as a punching bag. Due to his increased density, Piccolo can take these hits, but lacks the ability to deal them back with equal force. This tells him that he needs to fight smarter rather than harder, and so assessing what he knows about Saiyans in this form, he comes up with an idea for how to revert Vegeta back to his base form. In an attempt to catch the prince off guard, Piccolo rushes in, shoulder charging Vegeta and using his enhanced mass to push him backwards. The prince snarls that this is pointless, since he's already proven to be the stronger one, but Piccolo glowers back that sometimes it's not about brawn, it's about brains, case in point. He then darts his other arm down, grabbing tight around Vegeta's tail, which is now flapping between his legs. Vegeta cackles that he thought the Green Man might try that trick since it worked on Raditz, but unfortunately for him, he and Nappa have trained their tails beyond such a glaring weakness. Piccolo admits he's disappointed, but no matter, since he has a plan B, as he begins to yank down hard, nearly tearing the furry appendage clean off. Vegeta howls in pain, and Piccolo grins he thought so, adding that if he had to guess, the key to his monkey form is in this tail, so if it goes bye-bye, so does the transformation, right? Vegeta curses his opponent, tackling him to the ground. With an earth-shaking bang, the two kaijus land and begin to roll back and forth in the wreckage of the city, trying to pin the other. Unfortunately, without the leverage of the tail, Piccolo is once more outclassed, soon finding Vegeta's great ape knees planted squarely on his chest. The prince then taunts that Piccolo is undeniably strong, and that in another life, he could have been a Saiyan elite. But in the end, he's just a slug in need of squashing. He then raises both gloved fists and prepares to bring them down on Piccolo's head, but on instinct, the Namekian raises an arm. This deflects the blow into his chest instead, making it a non-lethal attack, but at the cost of that arm being cleaved in half at the elbow. This pain, on top of the pain of being in the giant form, is too much for Piccolo to handle, and so he begins to revert back to his base form, as Vegeta announces his supremacy. However, drawing strength from his own pride, Piccolo manages to give the prince one last parting gift, regenerating a new arm from the stump and using it to fire a point-blank special beam cannon through the Saiyan's shoulder and into his artificial moon, obliterating it. Now wounded and thoroughly drained, both fighters collapse beside each other in their base forms. Annoyance in his voice, Vegeta demands to know how the blasted Namekian got so strong. When Raditz's scouter clocked him at under 1500 during their battle, Piccolo admits that he fused with his other half to regain his full strength, which Vegeta calls a cowardly, un-Saiyan-like move, leaning on a crutch like that rather than earning his strength through battle. Angrily, Piccolo retorts that Vegeta is one to talk, since he threw a tantrum and used an artificial moon to power up when he was losing. The prince can only growl at such an insult, but before more barbs can be thrown, Nappa, who is awoken by now, approaches them both, telling them to save it for Frieza. Piccolo asks what exactly a Frieza is, and Nappa replies that he's a space tyrant, and the mission they have in mind is to kill him and take over his empire. Piccolo mirthlessly laughs that it's lucky they came to him rather than Goku, since that soft-hearted fool would never be up for something like that. Nappa asks if that means he'll join them, but Vegeta cuts in, saying that he hasn't yet given the Namekian permission to join them on this endeavor. Piccolo snaps that he won't beg if that's what Vegeta's waiting for, but the Saiyan tells him to cram it, admitting that he isn't as worthless as he had anticipated, so he supposes Piccolo can join, as his subordinate. Sarcastically, Piccolo says he's honored, then tells Nappa to take him and Vegeta to a set of coordinates. Vegeta gives a nod of approval, and so Nappa slings an arm around each of their shoulders and assists them to reach Korin's tower. Neither Korin nor Yajirobe look particularly thrilled to see their demonic overlord or his companions, but knowing that they are only alive because of their ability to grow senzu beans, they ask what Piccolo wants. Piccolo barks at them to fetch beans for himself and Vegeta, as well as a bag for later use. Yajirobe spinelessly salutes and goes to gather the requested beans, while Korin shrewdly asks if that means Piccolo's going somewhere far away. Piccolo snaps that it's none of the cat's business, to which Korin nods, grumbling that he was only making conversation. When they are healed and the bag of beans is in hand, the villainous trio retreat to Piccolo's palace where they can plan their next move. Obviously, to combat Frieza they'll have to go into space, but this is easier said than done when Vegeta and Nappa's pods are only meant for single occupancy. Vegeta sneers that Earth is truly pitiful, and Piccolo more so if he hasn't brought his world up to the level of spacefaring yet, but Piccolo tells him it doesn't matter, since he thinks he knows where he can get another ship. Nappa asks where, and Piccolo reminds him that Goku must have arrived by pod as well, so he can simply take Goku's. Vegeta admits that this is actually a good idea, though challenges Piccolo to tell him how he intends to find a pod that's gone undiscovered for over 20 years. However, instead of looking deterred, Piccolo simply chuckles, and when Vegeta demands to know what's so funny, the Namekian simply replies, "It's good to be the king." Within the hour, Piccolo has put out a worldwide broadcast, commanding his subjects to find Goku's pod, and with the resources of the entire human race at his disposal, this is not a difficult feat. The battle ball is found not far from Goku's former home on Mount Paozu, and after a quick inspection by Vegeta and Nappa, they confirm that it should still be capable of spaceflight. Punching in the coordinates to their next destination, the Saiyans tell Piccolo not to do anything stupid like open the hatch in deep space, then depart for their own pods, and the next stop on their journey to assassinate Frieza. When they are gone, Piccolo climbs into the cramped confines of the pod, and allows it to carry him up into the sky. As the suspended animation function prepares to put him under for a long sleep, the Namekian lays a hand on his back pocket, where rests the capsule he took from the lookout, reassured that he still has this ace in the hole, even if he would rather not use it. And that's where we'll leave things for now. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts, suggestions, or screams of rage in the comments below.